In the fight for power, even sisterhood can be sacrificed. When sisters turn on each other, the bond of blood becomes a blade. The rivalry between Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots, was more than a family feud. It was about survival in a world where a crown was both a blessing and a death sentence. One lost her life, the other lost her peace, and together, they shaped the future of Britain. Both powerful, both rightful heirs to thrones, both tied by blood, yet destined to destroy one another. On one side, Elizabeth I of England, the Virgin Queen, brilliant, cautious, and determined to keep her throne at all costs. On the other, Mary, Queen of Scots, young, beautiful, Catholic, and seen by many as the true Queen of England. Their rivalry would last decades, spanning betrayal, plots, prison, and ultimately, execution. This is not just a story of two women. This is a story of religion, power, and survival in one of the most dangerous eras of English history. Welcome to the real history of Elizabeth I versus Mary, Queen of Scots, the power struggle that changed England forever. Elizabeth Tudor was never supposed to be queen. She was the daughter of Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, a marriage many considered illegitimate. By birth, her claim was shaky. But after the death of her half-sister, Mary I, Elizabeth rose to the throne in 1558. She was Protestant, independent, careful with every move she made, and she ruled a kingdom torn apart by religious division. Meanwhile, north of the border, Mary Stuart, Queen of Scots, was a queen from the moment she was 6 days old. She was raised in France, married into royalty, and returned to Scotland as a young widow. Unlike Elizabeth, Mary was Catholic, and for Catholic Europe, she was the rightful heir to the English throne. Two queens, both anointed by God, both claiming legitimacy. Only one could rule England. Elizabeth's position was fragile. Many in Europe called her a heretic. To them, her throne was stolen, because in Catholic eyes, Elizabeth was illegitimate. And Mary, Queen of Scots, wasn't just a rival. She was a beacon of hope for Catholic loyalists. Across England, whispers began to spread. Shouldn't Mary be queen instead? This wasn't just politics, it was survival. For Elizabeth, Mary wasn't just family, she was a living threat. While Elizabeth carefully secured her throne, Mary's rule in Scotland began to unravel. Her second marriage, to Henry Lord Darnley, was a disaster. Darnley was arrogant, violent, and power-hungry. Soon, he was despised by everyone, including Mary herself. But then came scandal. In 1567, Darnley was found murdered, his house blown up, his body strangled in a garden nearby. Suspicion fell on Mary. Even worse, she quickly married the prime suspect, the ruthless Earl of Bothwell. Her people rebelled. Mary was forced to abdicate. And where did she flee? England. To Elizabeth. Elizabeth now faced a dangerous decision. Mary was her cousin, a fellow queen. To shelter her seemed noble, but dangerous, because everywhere Catholics saw Mary as the rightful ruler of England. If Elizabeth freed her, rebellions could ignite. So Elizabeth kept her under guard, not for weeks, not for months, but for 19 years. For nearly 2 decades, Mary was moved from castle to castle, living not as a queen, but as a prisoner. Yet in her captivity, Mary remained dangerous. She wrote letters. She plotted with allies. She became the symbol of Catholic resistance against Elizabeth. As long as Mary lived, Elizabeth was never safe. Rebellions broke out in northern England, calling for Mary's release. Plots were uncovered to assassinate Elizabeth and place Mary on the throne. The most famous, the Babington Plot of 1586. It was a conspiracy to kill Elizabeth, free Mary, and restore Catholic rule in England. When secret letters were intercepted, letters in which Mary appeared to approve the plot, Elizabeth had her proof. Now came the question, should she execute a fellow queen? For Elizabeth, this was no order. Executing Mary meant executing a monarch anointed by God. It could set a dangerous precedent. What if one day, someone decided Elizabeth too should be executed? But keeping Mary alive meant more plots, more danger. Finally, after years of hesitation, Elizabeth signed the death warrant. On February 8, 1587, Mary, Queen of Scots, walked to the execution chamber at Fotheringhay Castle. She wore crimson, a Catholic symbol of martyrdom. Dignified, calm, she declared she was dying as a faithful Catholic, a true queen. The executioner struck once, then again. It took 3 blows to sever her head. Mary was dead, but in death, she became more powerful than ever. Elizabeth wept when she heard the news. Some say she never truly wanted Mary executed, that she blamed her advisors for pushing her hand. But history is clear. Mary's death secured Elizabeth's reign. No more rival claimants, no more Catholic plots strong enough to overthrow her. And yet, Elizabeth never married. never named an heir. Ironically, it was Mary's son, James VI of Scotland, who would inherit the English throne after Elizabeth's death in 1603. The very bloodline Elizabeth fought so hard to defeat would one day unite England and Scotland forever. The rivalry between Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots, was more than a family feud. It was about religion. It was about legitimacy. It was about survival in a world where a crown was both a blessing and a death sentence. Two queens, two destinies. One lost her life, the other lost her peace. And together, they shaped the future of Britain.